geomagnetic storm hitting us. It's probably just them big ass solar flares that are gonna wipe out everything.
Oh man.
Ooh, we deserve it though. I'd rather it be Tansedo than like nukes.
Word. If it's gonna be anybody.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, at least that's natural.
Yeah, word. Yeah.
I was texting my mom about it, and she's like, I want to see the auroras. And I'm like, if we can see them this far down, that's like really bad. And she's like, I know, but if there's nothing I can do about it, I want to see it.
I saw Selena post a picture of, you could see it in Sinai.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Right now?
An hour ago. It was on Facebook.
You'll see.
Yeah, you can see it this far down south. That's
pretty sacred. Sacred.
That's pretty sacred.
I'm a little scared though. NGL. Let us know if you're having technical difficulties related to the sacred geomagnetic storm or what is it, solar flare.
Wow.
Oh, look at it. Slow internet connection.
Huh. Okay.
Oh dear, I wonder if the live's even doing well. No one's monitoring this. If you're writing hateful things, like there's nothing. I'm sorry.
Okay. Let's do a serious start of the actual podcast. I think what we're doing is doing a bit of dilly-dallying.
We're dilly-dallying for sure.
So, to get some people to watch if they're watching. I don't know. I haven't looked at it. Hold on. I need to adjust the mic also. So thank you, people, if you are tuning in. Okay.
And to introduce this to our viewers, like we said, this is a spin-off series called YOTED. What does YOTED mean? For those of you who don't know.
Okay. Hold on. Let's start like it's actually like the podcast starting.
Okay.
You
started.
And then some vocalization from Becky Jones. Okay. All right. Start it like how Nick would sound starting it.
Yeah. Hey guys. Yeah. You do better, Nick. You do good, Nick.
Okay. Hello, guys. We have a good episode today. I am joined by Jennifer Marley. Can you give us a brief introduction?
Hi, guys.
Okay.
Straight up, though. We love you. We love you, dog.
We love Nick. We're happy that he's back. I'm happy that he's back.
Right?
I was waiting for this episode to drop, and it was actually like a very well-received episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Been a good time talking about encampments and whatnot. Check it out if you haven't seen it yet.
Yep. Go look at our recents. So this episode, it's featured on the YOTED series because it has to do a little bit. Our YOTED series we use for conspiracy related things, right? Kind of like debunking common conspiracies or kind of like looking at how people can get misled when they're trying to get politicized. And so we've covered topics like, Jeffrey Epstein on here. We've looked at things like government ops, COINTELPRO.
If any of y'all have seen the Mother God series,
we did one on that.
That's actually been the number 2 episode of the Red Nation podcast of 24. So that actually is why we want to do another YOTED episode tonight. Actually, I'm thinking maybe let's keep it on camera A. Yeah. And
Okay.
this is like a fly on the wall.
Avant-garde angle. Okay.
Yeah, that's like fly on the wall.
Just like tuning in.
Yeah.
Just like those news anchors who do like the 5 o'clock news and they're just like on their live. Then they
Yeah. So those listening at home, we're trying something experimental tonight.
We're going live
on TikTok. So if you're not following the Red Nation podcast on TikTok, please do, so you can get access to live streams now. This is unannounced. This is totally like
Experimental.
yeah. And so we are in Tewa territory at the Larry Casus Freedom Center, and it is 11:16 p.m.
We have to get ourselves in a real specific state of mind to do YOTED episodes.
Yes.
So we're recording it late. We're off the sauce, aka the ghost energy drink.
No,
this is not sponsored.
Not sponsored.
This is not sponsored.
Non-sponsored
Don't
video.
buy Ghost. Don't buy. You know what? Don't buy anything. Anyways.
So we thought we wanted to do an episode of YOTED on the recent happenings, the great rap battle of 2024. There are things that maybe we want to say, but also just like on a surface level, maybe a bit of appreciation also. I guess this is going to be a the great rap battle of 2024, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and talk about the happenings surrounding this past weekend.
Right. And the way it's okay, we're familiar with what's happening with Drake and Kendrick, right? You know, all you Native kids back home have been listening to these fools since you were kids, right? Like, so I'm just gonna trust that the listeners are aware of what's happening. So I'm not gonna do any recaps. Right?
Are you sure? Just kidding. No, yeah, you're not.
It's clogging everybody's newsfeed, which is like one of the main things we wanted to talk about. This is a gigantic distraction from the escalating genocide in Palestine.
Yeah. Okay.
The beef between Kendrick and Drake, it directly implicates Native people in multiple ways, in ways that I have not seen anyone talk about. So that's what we're going to talk about today.
This is what the YOTED episode is actually about. We just wanted to give a quick props to Macklemore. But, okay, let's start it here. How Kendrick Lamar feels about Drake's blackness is how I feel about some Natives' indigeneity.
Pull up the lyric. Pull up the lyric.
Okay. All right. Get the receipt.
It's just two lines, but they are so powerful and like
they're just so relevant.
And like obviously, right? Obviously, there are nuances and differences in how Black identity developed in a place like the settler state of the U.S. and Indigenous identity. We've talked many times on this podcast how Black and Indigenous identity were created co-constitutively against each other, right, to augment the wealth of the capitalists.
Yes.
And so listen to just...
How many more fairy tale stories about your life till we've had enough? How many more Black features till you finally feel that you're Black enough? And he's saying this about Drake, but this could be like cross-culturally, this applies to people we know.
Very much so, right? Fake stories about your life. It's about somebody who is buying into identity politics. It's about somebody who is throwing their identity around for clout. It's about somebody who
is disingenuous about their identity, who profits off of their identity, who uses their identity, their racial identity as a mask to perform, to
in many ways and at many points escape accountability for the terrible things they do.
Yeah.
And so that was just one that hits hard. I'm sure a lot of natives heard that lyric and felt the same way. Maybe specific names and faces came to mind. Maybe specific names and faces came to mind when you heard a lot of these different lyrics.
Yeah. I hate the way that you talk. I hate the way that you walk.
We're also looking at, another favorite for us was you're not a colleague, you're a colonizer. That hits, right? That hits, right? right? Not just the scholars, not just the artists, right? That hits really.
Yeah.
And the way he
go ahead. No, I was just gonna say, like, it reminds us of specific people that we see organizing on the scene.
I think about the academy. I think about all the pretendingism in the academy, or the reconnecting / disconnected people coming into the academy and, getting into programs with their sob story about how they're trying, it evokes.
Yeah. I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, what also comes to mind with that line is, like, you're not a comrade, you're a colonizer.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
it's just like, it's just so, like, goodly profound that Kendrick has been able to just expose somebody this way. Like, oh my God, I would live to just tear down somebody like that.
I would say I've never seen a celebrity taken down like this in my entire life.
It's really something
in my entire life. And right. But the point of this episode is also to bring us back down to earth, right? Take us out of the specifics of the rap beef, and to remember this is not a whose side are you taking, Kendrick or Drake? Because I actually don't believe.
God. And that's like choosing between, like, Republicans and Democrats.
Right. Like, you can't put your faith in a celebrity, in any celebrity. Like, if you're wound up enough in something to be able to expose things like prostitution rings, what is that saying about you and where you've been? Not only that, I absolutely believe that Kendrick was possibly a domestic abuser. Why? Because we see plenty of men who spout culture and family values who beat women and children behind closed doors. We all know this, so that's not surprising to me at all. I don't think it's...
And then, like, hailed as leaders.
Exactly. Yeah. Hailed as leaders. They're just good people. Oh, sometimes, like, I've seen it a million times, so that's not surprising to me at all. And we've also known that Drake is a pedophile. We've known this for many years. Like, the video going around him groping that 16-year-old on stage that came out like almost a decade ago. Him fucking talking to Millie Bobby Brown. Like,
he was at, like, Kylie Jenner's 16th birthday party. Like, why is an adult man at a 16-year-old's birthday party?
Right.
And he also has, like, song titles like a teenage, what Teenage Dream or something like that. I can't even remember. No. That's Katy Perry, LOL. I can't remember. I just remember it was just, like, kind of raunchy. But he's also, like, one of the lead producers on Euphoria. Which is, like, it's like child porn. It's like child softcore porn. Euphoria. Like, it's actually gross. I tried to watch it. I couldn't stomach it. I couldn't get through it. I thought it was gross.
And Drake has essentially been out and proud about that, about being a straight up ped. It's been in our face for a very long time. So,
oh God, there's even that theory going around about that nudie video that he leaked, and there's speculation that he leaked that video on purpose to because he might have sent it to somebody who he shouldn't have sent it to.
Perhaps, an underage person.
Perhaps, maybe. I don't know. This is pure speculation. But to leaking the video so that the person who initially received it has no power to be like, they sent me this video, when, like, it'll just immediately discredit them. Like, everybody has that video now. So I don't know. It's just like Kendrick says, like, freaky uncles.
Freaky natives.
Better stay the ass inside. Yeah. Drake, you could have just, like, stayed home and none of this would have happened.
Yeah, and to take it, like, even a level deeper, okay, our last podcast, Nick talked with our comrade Jeffrey, who talked about the crisis of water advisories and mass suicides in Ontario, right, where Drake is from. And we also know there are many First Nations there who also are being heavily impacted by the epidemic of missing and murdered Indigenous women. And we're seeing anonymous accounts coming out from survivors of human trafficking in the area saying it has been well known that Drake has been involved in trafficking circles for years now.
Yeah.
And we can only assume that Native women were also involved in these trafficking rings, right? You can put 2 and 2 together easily, right? Just knowing what we know about Ontario, knowing what we know about Toronto, right? He made that tweet that was like, Ontario kids are my favorite. Like, how disgusting. Like, he was like blatantly admitting to this. And so to all the Native girls who grew up on Drake, right? Who love Drizzy, that's your shit. You don't care what anyone's saying. He would sell you. He would sell you and your babies.
Ooh.
And that's that.
Yeah.
He does sell you. He sells you. He's profiting off of the bodies of Native women and innocent women and children already.
Yeah. Oh, man. It's... I'm sorry, I don't really have a point after that. I'm just kind of like, holy shit, that is what that is.
Sobering. And that's like we're hearing everywhere in the media all about the beef between Drake and Kendrick Lamar, but somehow there's so much sensationalism happening without talking about the main topic at hand, which is that Drake is being exposed for being a sex trafficker. Mm-hmm. That's the main thing, and nobody's saying it like that. It's so amazing how we can like sensationalize something without actually talking about it. Like, it's wild to me, and it speaks to like just like a greater sickness and level of denial that exists in our world that just allows like things like human trafficking to happen, that allows just like rampant misogynistic violence to happen.
Yep.
And it's specifically, like I said, we're looking at it from the angle of Native women, looking at whose land this is happening on, right? Mm-hmm. And how is that not that's a connection that needs to be made. Absolutely. And not only the trafficking of Native women that Drake is almost certainly involved in, but also looking at the women that are being weaponized, that are being invoked by both Drake and Kendrick and wielded against each other, right? Like, where's the voice of the woman that Kendrick Lamar allegedly abused, right? The voices of Drake's children, the voices, like, the women and children being discarded and erased in all of this is so wild and sickening, because it is the alleged abuse of them that is the source of the supposed beef in the first place. Yet we're literally not talking about that. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Also, like, on another angle of things, there's like the whole, like, people, I guess the whole like Megan Thee Stallion thing, you know, where like the misogyny is like, she's actually the one who initially like put out the, I guess, accusations in the whole rap scene in the first place by, what was that line? You're not scared of me, you're scared of Megan's Law, or something like that. I don't know. The famous Megan's Law line. And she also says that, I bet you won't even take this or take me seriously or respond to me or something like that. So I don't know. I guess it applies to like all of Hollywood. Like, it's like a mass like uncovering of all these like predators.
This is related to everything we talked about with the quiet on set, right? Mm-hmm. This is related to like, this is just one sliver of like the great undoing in Hollywood. And like, we were joking, like everybody's just like, like right now, like everybody's everyone's trying to pop each other. Like everyone, dude, exactly, dude. I'm like, they might not even have to Epstein Drake. He really might actually do it himself, dude. Like, he's a Scorpio after all.
You know what? Before we even go there, like I think it's also interesting how at the same time we're also seeing like masses of people do like a mass unfollowing of all these celebrities, all these celebrities who are like most definitely involved in all this, like in human trafficking. I don't know.
And as you put the pieces together, right, going back listening to other artists such as like JPEG Mafia and like other artists, they've been dissing Drake. They've been leaving those hints, and like it's all coming together. Like it's, I think this brought to light was like,
there was also like the whole Cat Williams thing at the beginning of the year.
Yep, Cat Williams. It helped me understand why Kanye is as yoted out as he is.
Yeah.
It helped me understand. I'm just like, dude, as if I didn't already believe it from the Dear Mama documentary that came out on Hulu last year. I'm just like, they absolutely took out Pac because he was gonna expose everybody. Like, play. You can't convince me otherwise. You can't.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true, man.
And then, I don't know. It just, things are clear. Like, Hollywood just imploding. They're all going to threaten to tell on each other. It's everyone's collective undoing. Like, I feel like they took out Epstein first because they're like, oh, he's not a celebrity. But, like, nah. Like, they're coming for Diddy. They're coming for Drake. It's going down.
Like, the entire, like, pedo system that they have going, but, like, within the ruling class is just now imploding on itself.
It's imploding.
And like the masses are turning on them.
Dude, that submarine shit was so symbolic. Oh man, it just imploded on these billionaires though. They were gone in a second.
Not the Saturn-Neptune conjunction.
Hey. All right, if we're getting yoted, what's your take on this?
Okay. Okay. So I have been wondering how the Uranus-Jupiter conjunction was, like, the effects of it was going to come up. And I thought it was really interesting how all of this happened after the Scorpio new moon, and how and also like during Taurus season, and like how there's like a constant dropping of like music, like art, like very Venusian, very Taurus, and then also the Uranus part being like that sudden like that like sudden gain of knowledge, like if you think of like a lightning bolt in the dark and how it just lights everything and you see everything around you
like for a second,
and you're like, holy shit, like this, like it's exposed,
yeah.
And I see it, it's like very with the vibes. I feel sorry to be super yoted. If we're gonna do it,
it's yoted. This is like this is what got us money last time, us being absurd and ridiculous. I'm sorry, like we're gonna be boring and political and scholarly all the time, but every now and then we got to drop a cash cow. Ridiculous. Like,
yeah. No, but that being said, please support this episode on Patreon. The Red Nation podcast is completely supported by our Patreon base, our patron base, people who love the show, just supporting the show. And we're able to produce an episode every week because of your support. So, yeah. So the special treats, the special yoted episode treats where you don't really have to think about it. You just had to kind of listen to us like go on like a silly little rant.
Pretend we're all shooting the shit together on your couch. Yeah. That's what we're doing right now.
Yeah. So we'll put this episode on Patreon first for the patrons, and then we'll I don't know if we'll put this on the main feed. Maybe
Who
not.
knows? We'll see.
Knows?
Tune in.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah. So, if we're going to talk about astrology, it's going to be on a yoted episode. LOL.
Literally no other time, because we are Marxist materials. We believe in historical and dialectical materialism. So don't get it twisted.
Yeah, I'm the in-house astrology hoe. Like, don't mind me. I also thought that I know that people were talking about Drake's chart since like last year. Like there's, I guess, like people were recirculating an astrologer's like Twitter posts, and people were saying that if Drake doesn't basically stop his bullshit, like karma's gonna catch up with him. And it was really interesting. Like there was all these, I can't remember the crazy like astrology whether that was happening, but for Pisces, it's kind of like they're coming out the freaking ringer. And Drake has like a Pisces moon, so does Kendrick. And then
what?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Actually, come to think of it, I can't remember if Drake has a Pisces moon or a Cancer moon. But anyways,
it's the way Kendrick is a Gemini king for me, though.
It is, and that's actually what started the conversation in the first place.
It is, because I'm also a Gemini.
I was like, Jen, if you're gonna like take down somebody, it would be like lyrically like in Meet the Grams.
That was the highest compliment I ever received.
Yeah. I can only dream to tear down someone like that.
Because it's like,
so
oh,
personal.
You pissed me off, I will become a parental figure to your children, and like TBH, like, and then you'll hate it, and there'll be nothing you can do about it. Like,
yeah,
I'm gonna be so graceful, but so brutal. Like,
yeah, brutal.
Oh,
brutal. Yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, I seldom get angry, but when I do, it's
okay. Another astrology bit that I have is Jen shares a Mercury-Mars conjunction, like how Eminem has a Mercury-Mars conjunction. And do you want to say the line that you said when you found that out?
What I was like,
something about you relating to him.
Yeah, no, okay, so we all liked Eminem when we were kids, right? In spite of how problematic we know he is, right? And I was just like, dude, I've always like deeply related to him, like to his energy, like just so damn eccentric and ridiculous and unserious until he is serious. And then and then it's like it's kind of corny when he is serious, but he's so serious, so don't make fun of him.
Yeah.
No, it's relatable. Like I relate to that. I relate to
Gemini kings and
just wilding. Yeah. If you have like an impression of me so far, like based on what you see on the podcast, and this is coming as a surprise to you, like get with it.
Oh man. Hell yeah.
Going back to the subject.
Okay. Yeah,
to the subject at hand. Yeah, there's a lot to be drawn from what we're seeing, right? It's a huge distraction to the escalating genocide in Gaza, right?
Yep.
Like the IDF is invading southern Rafah. They recently rejected a ceasefire deal that was it was being mediated by Egypt and Qatar, and Hamas agreed to it. Israel said no. Fuck our hostages. And like
literally, yeah.
And it's bad. And so like, yeah, we know that this beefage is a
also,
giant distraction.
It like brought a silence to like this stream of news about student encampments. That news kind of came to a halt when the rap beef really took off.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think that also, like, the way the media is weaponizing it is one thing versus, like, I think there's a lot of other things we could draw from it, right? Like, I do think Kendrick is making really important points, right?
Yeah.
Like, I really like that You're Not a Colleague, You're a Colonizer lyric because he sets up the whole context. He does, like, a little mini chronological history lesson in, like, a few lines. And he's literally mapping, like, it's actually very complex what he does.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually very brilliant. Like, he is creating the geography for us. He's mapping out the geography of, like, Black liberation and the production of capital and like the center, right? Atlanta. He's naming Atlanta as the center of capital. He is talking about how Black labor and money has been historically siphoned from these metropoles. And he is then like, he's saying Drake is like, it's like participating in that siphoning himself. And that's just like
colonizing.
Yeah, he's like, you're not a colleague, you're a colonizer. Like, it's so actually like just so sophisticated, like what he does in so little words. Like,
yeah,
these scholars could never.
Yeah.
People write whole books trying to explain. People write whole dissertations trying to make a point like that. Like,
he has won a Pulitzer Prize, BTW.
I actually found that out like just the other day.
Yeah.
Like as this was coming out. So like in terms of like the significance of like his literary impact, like it's pretty undeniable for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then I saw like a tweet and it's like, for people who don't understand what's happening right now, it's as if J.K. Rowling picked a fight with Toni Morrison.
Oh my God. Oh. Damn.
And I was like,
gagged.
Oh, geez. But yeah, who's at the center of this? It's unnamed women. It's unnamed women and children who are being implicated in this. And it also kind of makes me like, it's very interesting seeing this commentary on like the protection of the family. And I am also very interested in like conversations. Like if you heard me talk recently about the, love, about family, about any of that, like I have taken on positions that have deviated from like, what I believe maybe 5-6 years ago. And I understand the importance of that. However, I'm always very cautious when men take this up because they often have trouble doing it in a way that actually gives, and I'm not saying this in the way you might think I am, but like gives autonomy or at least voice to the women that they're trying to protect or defend in these instances, right? It's very like paternalistic, I guess, is like how they're invoking the pain and suffering of these women and children. And it's like, well, yes, calling pedos out is a huge way to protect women and children. I do believe Kendrick is contributing a great deal to this undoing of Hollywood at large. But it's like,
but like in the same breath, he's still calling women bitches.
Yeah. In the same breath, he's still doing that. And he still is acting as if like he's still speaking in a way that is shaming of women's sexuality or implying that women's expression of sexuality is always only inherently linked to their relationship to men, right? Their fathers, like male role models in their lives. And that's, it's just like standard misogyny, like, and it's, and it also kind of makes me think about like how men in general are like, oh, I'm not an abuser. I've never put my hands on a woman, or I'm not a misogynist. I've never raped a woman, because in their mind, it has to be that extreme to count. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. Like there's so many men who think they're so highly of themselves, because they've never taken it to that extreme, but they're not stopping people when they see it in front of them. They're not bringing it up unless they're using it to benefit themselves. Like in this case, right? They'll call out one guy they hate who's a rapist, but not their homie who's a rapist. Like they'll talk about protecting and defending women all day. And like I said, mistreat women behind closed doors. And so it's like,
ooh, it's like those like native rappers who are like all about MMIW, but yet are freaking women beaters and rapists.
Mm-hmm. Which is like too many to name, unfortunately. Way too many.
It applies to too many.
Like I'm having trouble thinking of one it does not apply to. Straight up. Hold that against us if you want.
Yeah.
Do better.
or don't do anything. We need farmers and shit.
Yeah.
I mean, don't do anything in the way of like of rapping. Like, stop going to Launchpad. Go to the fields.
Our men used to go to the fields. Oh my god.
Our men used to go hunting.
Okay. Yeah, since y'all get to say that kind of shit all the time. Anyways. That's what this is kind of like reminding me of. And it's like I feel like we keep, as we're talking about the undoing of Hollywood, we keep thinking like, oh, this one's a good guy because he exposed this or he protected so and so, or oh, this one's a good one. But like the point that we should be taking away from all of these exposings is that you can't trust any of them. They're all celebrities. They're all embedded in it. Like,
Yeah.
If somebody really comes out and fully denounces, if somebody shows, like, puts their money where their mouth is, like, commits class suicide, that's a different story. And I think that one person, ironically, again, coming close to doing that is Macklemore. He literally said, fuck my career. Like, he knows he doesn't give a shit anymore. Like, you, like, unless the celebrity's at that point, they're not redeemable at all.
It's true. It's true. I mean, like, yeah, and it's not just like limited to these people we're talking about. It's like across the board with like we got to end celebrity culture.
Celebrity culture in general. That includes the petit bourgeois, the native actors, and all these little series we got going on.
Or even like self-appointed like leadership of like organizers,
right? The nonprofit people,
or like autonomous organizers.
Yeah, just the celebrity culture, the individualism, and I like stated before. That's why I got rid of my social media because I was like, this is very disturbing. This is very disturbing. Like, I'm happy to see the death of celebrity culture.
Me too. I'm low-key participating in like the mass blocking.
Yeah, mass blocking. And it's like,
if I see like a celebrity come on my page, I'll just block them.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Blocked.
And you should too. It's
literally like a non-action, right? How can I help Palestine? There's nothing I can do from where I am. Do the bare minimum.
Divest from everything. And like everything outside of like your basic necessities and simple pleasures.
We were just also listening to our dear relative, Hamid Al-Kurd, who was speaking at the rally November 4th in DC. And literally the first thing he says is, think about the suffering that the people in Gaza are experiencing right now. Think about what it's like to fear that a bomb is going to fall on you at any time. Think about what it's like to see the carnage of your relatives. Think about the starvation and the suffering, and now weigh it against your own problems, weigh it against your own suffering. He said, it is nothing compared to your suffering is nothing compared to what Palestinians are experiencing right now. So what if you get expelled from school? So what if you get fired from your job? That is nothing. And he said, be so realistic about what is happening and what that means. Like,
and if you can feel that way about Palestinians, like you can feel that way about Native people too. Like I was listening to Dead Pioneers the other day, and he was going off on like fuck your white tears, like when there are like millions of ancestors who were killed for like the stolen land, basically. I mean, I don't know the exact words, but yeah.
Like if the idea of like, Israeli settlements being built atop mass graves and bones disturbs you, like you live on a giant Gaza already if you live in the United States.
Under the crust of the earth is like the skeletons of...
Our literal bones are built into the structures of the... Like physically,
it's
literally,
sick.
quite literally physically.
Yeah, it's so sick to like go to places like Washington, D.C. or like Massachusetts. It's just ugly out there. Fill in the...
And that's why, like we say, and we've reiterated again and again, Palestine is the tip of the spear for Native liberation. And like all these things are connected, right?
Mm-hmm.
The rat beef, Palestine, Native liberation, MMIW, global human trafficking. Suicides, exactly. Suicide rates, environmental collapse. I know a lot of y'all already know this, but I think like we're getting to a point where even in the greatest attempts to create a distraction by sensationalizing something, people are still led to acknowledge our greater reality through it. Because that's how, that's just how inevitable it is. Like, it's inevitable that people are being forced to see reality.
It's a mass unveiling and like a mass just awareness happening. It's very Pluto and Aquarius.
And it's also just like, I'm like, this is the ruling class dying. It's the United States dying. It's global imperialism dying. It's like,
absolutely,
like Hollywood is the mask for all of these things, right?
Yeah.
That's why like Hollywood is exported, right? That's why like American exceptionalism is like, it's like homogenous, right? The U.S. attempts to homogenize the world by exporting its culture, by exporting Hollywood to the rest of the world.
Oh my God, yeah.
And now it is crumbling, and that is like actually a major pillar of imperialism, right? We know that, the Call of Duty games are blatantly like DoD propaganda. We know that Marvel movies need to be approved by the Pentagon. We know that.
I hate Marvel.
And it's just like, it's not working anymore. It's dope. Their classic War on Terror playbook didn't work. And like the celebrities are going to eat each other alive. They're going to cannibalize themselves. They're going to kill each other. They're going to kill themselves. Like they're going to get popped off by the even higher ups before they get came for. Like the fact, like I said, the fact that like big name celebrities are going to get got.
It's also like the death of the ruling class. I was listening to the astrology podcast and they were talking about the generation with Pluto and Leo. And right now we're in Pluto in Aquarius, which is the opposite side of the zodiac. And it's very rare that a generation will experience a Pluto opposition because of how long it takes for Pluto to go to make a return. And basically I was listening to I think it was like the 2024 prediction episode where they're just kind of looking at the future forecast and talking about Pluto and Aquarius, but also Pluto and Leo, and how basically what they were like forecasting was that this Pluto and Leo generation, which is people born from like, I think it's like 40 to 60 or something like that, the boomer generation, all the people in power right now, all the people in Congress, all the people who own the majority of the wealth right now, that's that generation. And they were saying, the astrologer, he like misspoke, and I heard he said this generation is going to go out with a boom, but he said he meant it like like it's a what is it he meant it like in the way of like boomer, but for me I was like it's like it's already there, man. Like a boom, you can't. What is this, an airport? Like
Oh my God.
like, yeah, but I don't know. It's just really interesting to like mine the astrology during these times, because it's like I just find that so interesting. Like that this generation, I think it's so like, I don't know. There was also like talk like at a different episode that I heard too, where they're saying that this generation is like in a more positive light is also, I guess, like passing the baton on to the next generation that's gonna like lead the world, which is gonna be Pluto and Aquarius. So people who are being born right now, actually. So right now through the Aquarius transit. So I don't think it's Gen Alpha. It's probably like, Gen Alpha, or like it's probably by now like Gen Beta, maybe even. I don't know when Gen Alpha ends.
Okay.
But the current generation of kids, like they're going to be the ones leading us. Obviously. But,
yeah.
And it's interesting to see how the youth are responding to reality as it happens. We're actually supposed to have a youth on this episode.
Yeah. Who's an expert on rappers.
And is an expert at being a Zoomer.
And a Zoomer.
A Virgo, yeah. Yeah, leave it to a Virgo to like really talk about what they're disgusted about. But yeah. So yeah, I guess that's like the silver lining in all of this. I mean, we always talk about how like the end of the world is really just like the beginning of like the new world or whatever.
Yeah, and going back to the last podcast that Nick and Jeffrey recorded, like that was a powerful conversation. Go listen if you haven't, but they were talking about like, you know, the minute you're able to overcome being suicidal, right? And which is something you might do many times throughout life. It's not like a one and done thing. Like you have the chance to like basically be reborn again, like to come back from that. And like basically the point that they were getting at is like people want to stay alive when they want to build a world that they want to live in, you know? And like the psychologists don't account for people's material realities, which in this case was the realities of First Nations people in Ontario, right? Who don't have access to clean drinking water or proper health care or, you know, adequate food and just resources, basic resources. And this idea of creating a world you want to live in is one we talk about a lot, but like even just having the will to imagine a better world, right? That is easier to live in. And I hope that as we are kind of sitting with the reality of like this undoing of our current reality, the undoing of Hollywood, the undoing of the US, the undoing of imperialism on the global scale, the undoing of capitalism, like
the undoing of the ruling class.
The undoing of the ruling class. Like this is gonna be a tough transition, but like such a necessary one, and it just opening up so many avenues to build like just a beautiful world that people want to live in. Like
absolutely, like a life affirming path forward.
Life affirming, not a death driven world.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so I hope the downfall of people like Drake truly do represent the downfall of people like him everywhere. I hope that this domino effect continues because it's been giving me a lot of hope in these hard times. I hope that people are exposed. I know I've been feeling exposed, and it's bittersweet, like to have your faults and flaws kind of brought back at you. But I'm just grateful, like, and it makes me want to do better. It makes me want to be better so I can help build a better world. And it's worth going through on the personal level and at large.
Absolutely. That's beautiful. I think that's a good way to end it, honestly. Yeah.